So this isn't really an in-depth tutorial on exactly how to perform these launches. It's more of an overview or a showcase to give you an idea of what different kinds of launches look like and the basics of how they work. Launching is something that can't really be explained properly in just a paste bin, and with the renewed interest in Breath of the Wild speedrunning because of some huge discoveries the last couple of months, I thought I'd make a video showcasing different kinds of launches and how to perform them. So this is mostly going to be aimed at beginners, so I'll go over the very basics and explain the terminology as well. So as this is aimed at beginners, I have some explaining to do. I think in order to learn a trick, it's important to understand why it works the way it does. While there's obviously a lot of stuff we can explain about it, I'm gonna attempt to explain ragdolling. As Swiffy22 has already made a good video explaining ragdolling more in depth, I recommend you watch their video for a more detailed explanation, but I'll go over the basic idea here so you get the gist of it. When Link is in his normal ragdoll state, the physics in the game act on him like intended. So if you get hit by an enemy, for example, Link will go flying. If you fall down a hill, he'll fall down it without being able to get back up. So the game is working as intended. We want Link to be in his ragdoll state when we do a stasis launch, or it will fail and Link will basically turn into spaghetti. So what causes him not to be in ragdoll state anymore? Well, shield jumping, basically. If you shield jump and put your shield away, Link will be outside of ragdoll state until he takes damage or until you induce ragdoll state by landing on your shield and pulling it out from under him. It's pretty dumb, but that's what you need to know. If you're going to attempt a launch, make sure you are in ragdoll state. If you're unsure, the easiest way is to either pull the shield out like I described earlier, or bombing yourself. After that, you're good to go until your next shield jump. These are two minor things, but they trip a lot of people up when they first start doing launches. Firstly, you always want to face away from the object you're launching. If you face the object, you get in way less hits. And you want to make the most of your time. And two, when you've hit the object enough, don't just let go of Y. By only letting go of Y, Link will go into a pretty lengthy animation where he slams the weapon down. To stop that from happening, hold down B and then let go of Y. He'll stop spinning instantly and you'll have more time to set up. And speaking of that, just hitting the object gives it a default angle. Most of the time you'll want to change that angle to take you where you want to go. The easiest way to do this is with an arrow, but there are some where bombs work well too. You simply have to shoot the arrow at an angle where it will make sense. For example, if you aim very high, you'll go high but not far forward. If you aim low, you'll go into the ground. You'll see where I angle my arrows once I get to showing you the launches, but you should try messing around with it to see how the angle corresponds with where you go. Rocket launches are a bit different than normal stasis launches, in that you just hold on to the object instead of getting hit by it. You can rocket with pretty much anything you can grab onto, like trees and bigger boulders. Once stasis has deactivated and sends you off, you have to make sure to not move Link at all. Moving Link while you're flying will simply make you fall off. Also, if you stasis a tree too early, it'll just fall down and not separate from the tree, so try to get a feel for the timing. Box jumps also can't really be classified as stasis launches, so I'll explain those two before we get into stasis launches. Box jumps are pretty much as simple as they sound. Whack a box and get your final angle as close to straight up as you can get. You can get the right angle with either a bomb or a well-placed arrow. As you want the box not to break when stasis lets go, you'll need to use metal boxes. Wooden boxes will break from too much force. Rockets and box jumps are pretty straightforward, but since they work differently than stasis launches, I thought I'd get them out of the way first. So now it's time for the really fun stuff. You can launch with a lot of objects, but you can't launch with items from your inventory, like weapons or ingredients. And you can't launch off enemies. Well, you can technically. However, that's not really a stasis launch, so I'll stay away from bullet time bounces in this video. The most common objects to launch with are trees, boxes, and boulders. You can also launch with some pots and small rocks. As tree launches are by far the most common and versatile, I'll start with those. There are 4 main kinds of launches you can do with trees. The flat launch doesn't have you doing anything other than cutting the tree down and hitting it. You might be wondering when to jump, and really the best advice I have for that part is to listen to the dings, count them, and jump on a specific ding. Some launches have different timings for when to jump, so I won't go into when to jump for each launch. Unfortunately, you'll just have to try it out yourself, look at how other people do it, and get a feel for it. A grounded height launch only differs in that you crouch behind the tree and shoot an arrow into it to change the angle upwards. This gives you more height. Sometimes the part you want to shoot is too low, however, but here's a tip. By pulling a bomb out and putting it behind you before crouching, the camera will get forced more upwards and let you shoot the arrow where you want it. A horizontal height launch has you cutting the tree and stasising it while it's falling at an angle where Link can climb up and stand on it. A horizontal height launch has you cutting the tree forwards, stasising it a bit earlier so that you can stand near the crown and jump into it. Boxes are very straightforward. Crouch behind the box and shoot it. I recommend standing near the back edge of the box when jumping. You can do this with pretty much any type of box. FSLs can be done with tiny and huge objects. These launches give you even more speed than a regular launch by hitting you right in the back. For these to work, you need the right kind of terrain, preferably slightly sloped ground and a lot of room to fall, as you'll go down quite a bit before being able to pull out your paraglider. And now we're getting into the really cool stuff. Stasis resets are pretty different from regular launches. When stasis deactivates, it has a pretty lengthy cooldown before you can use it again. However, you can reset this timer instantly by either watching a memory or getting a tooltip, such as using the amiibo room for the first time or picking up a new object. This allows you to use stasis and stay on the object as it's flying, remove the cooldown, and stasis the object again to start over. This is a very tricky thing to get right. The easiest way to perform this kind of launch is to use a slab. I'm terrible at these, so I'm gonna leave you this amazing video by Zant doing one. If you get a bad angle when you stasis again, Link might not be able to hit the object just by spinning. In this case, you can use something called bow spinning to lower the hitbox of your weapon. I'm not very good at this part either, so I'll leave you a tutorial by Rin Harasaki on how to bow spin. It's very handy for non-stasis related things as well, but most importantly it makes you look really cool. Super launching is the fastest kind of stasis launch, and the most technical as well. To just quickly explain, if you pull your paraglider out on a frame where the game is lagging, you'll get a ton of extra speed and you can go really far. Santa has already made a great in-depth video about this topic, so I'll let him do the talking. Go check out his video. Hey, thanks for checking out this dumb video I made. This is the first time I've ever done a heavily edited video, so I hope I did okay. Anyway, I have a Twitch channel, you'll see the name on screen probably, and yeah, I hope this wasn't too all over the place. Anyways, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you some other day.